You're listening to Al Pastor, the show that helps you love God, love your neighbor, and eat more tacos. I'm your host, Pastor Brian. Welcome to the show. Well, hello, everybody. I want to welcome you today to the podcast, and we are going to be covering Genesis 42, 1 through 16. And in studio with me today is Mr. Noah. How are you doing, Noah?
I'm doing pretty good.
Good. Well, I'm glad that you're going to do this with me. So we're recording this on, of course, Monday evening. So have you done your reading already for today?
Yes.
You know, on the episode that I did yesterday, which is for today, whatever, my brain gets confused on that. I did what I call a thinking out loud. So I spent a lot of time today kind of studying that out. I figured we might as well review some of that. So that was Genesis 41, 37 through 57. Do you have any questions out of the reading that is from today?
No, I don't.
Is there anything that stood out to you in particular?
Well, it's like a quote that I've been having is it's like when it says Pharaoh, is that just his title or his real name?
That is that's his title. So the Pharaoh is like the Egyptian word for king.
So in the Bible, it doesn't actually mention like the Pharaoh's name?
No, it doesn't. It just says Pharaoh. So like there's a variety of different pharaohs, but it just uses the word Pharaoh. So yeah, that is it. Let's go through. We'll go through a few of these things, and I'll share with you some of the things that stood out to me. The first one is, of course, Joseph had the dream, right? And Pharaoh needed it to be interpreted. And what's interesting to me is that he, in the reading from, I think it was Friday, right? He tries to get his wise men and his magicians to figure this out, and nobody can figure out Pharaoh's dream. And so back then, what they meant by wise men and magicians were astrologers, people that would look at the stars or be able to discern certain things. And of course, the butler, if you remember, that was the guy that was in prison with Joseph, remembered Joseph. And he's like, hey, I remember this one guy when I was in jail, and he interpreted dreams, and he was like right on the money. So now Joseph comes up and he interprets the dream, and it's a crazy dream. I mean, we've got 7 years of plenty, which means like, hey, things are going to be good for the next 7 years. And then 7 years of famine, like hard times, right? So what's really interesting is verse 38. So we're in Genesis 41, verse 38. So let's read it. Pharaoh said to his servants, "Can we find a man like this in whom is the Spirit of God?" What do you think that means?
Like Pharaoh's looking for a person who like has God on their side and then would be able to like help Egypt flourish.
Yeah, that is definitely part of it. Specifically when it says, "Can we find someone like this in whom is the Spirit of God?" What that means is that there is a distinguishing mark on a person's life when they walk with God, when they serve God, when God has empowered a person for service. It will become evident, like people will be able to see it. And this is God demonstrating this goodness through Joseph's life. So that's definitely part of what it is. So all of a sudden, let's see here, verse 41. So Pharaoh said to Joseph, "See, I've set you over all the land of Egypt." So now who's in charge? It is Joseph. How crazy is that? And then verse 42, Pharaoh took his signet ring from his hand and he put it in Joseph's hand. Here's my question. Do you know what a signet ring is?
Like it's like a ring you give to a person, and the ring represents certain power.
Yeah, in that sense, it's the authority. So it would be like, you know how I have to do my signature on checks or sign papers and stuff?
Yeah.
A signet ring was like your personal identity, and it would have like a raised emblem on it. And what you would do is you would melt some wax, and you would put your ring into the wax, and then you would stamp the paper. And this would be really hard to counterfeit. So a signet ring means, hey, I'm giving you, like, sometimes I give you my credit card and I say, hey, go buy that at Vallarta or wherever.
Yes.
You don't like that doing that, do you? Well, I'm giving you my authority to use my name and my card when I have you go in and pay for whatever it is. That's kind of the idea of this. This is the reason I'm telling you this. This is a big, big deal. Like this is huge. So he gives them a signet ring. It's like, man, you've got a free check here. And then look what he did. It says he clothed him in garments of what does it say there?
Fine linen.
Now, do you remember when Joseph was wearing some clothes the last time, like some good clothes?
Like his colorful robe?
Exactly. That got taken from him. Now look. Crazy, huh? And then put a gold chain around his neck. Now verse 43. And he made him ride in his second chariot. Now let's stop there for a second. Probably, okay, at least in the Bible, the last time Joseph went for a ride, when was it?
When he went to Egypt?
Exactly. So he was going to Egypt as what?
A slave.
As a slave. Now he's going for a ride. He was going to Egypt, and now he's riding through Egypt. This is like a big parade. And look what the people do. What they did. They called out before him. So this means as he's riding on a chariot, people are going ahead of him, and they're telling the crowds, because here's what you need to picture. If Pharaoh is coming into town, like you've seen the news, like if the president comes to town, right? Like there's Secret Service, there's cars, there's people lined up on the streets.
Yeah.
Now imagine, this is Egypt. Like this is a big deal. There are people everywhere. So all these people are going out in front, and look what they say. What does it say? What do I have underlined there?
Bow the knee.
So imagine now, picture yourself in this chariot. You're in a chariot. What do you think is pulling the chariot?
Horses.
Do you think they're just any ordinary horses? What kind of horses?
Nice, big, buff.
Probably, yeah, big, buff, nice horses. Probably some stallions, huh? Maybe a big old white horse. I don't know.
A nice mane.
Exactly. Like some good looking horses. Now, you're in this. Everybody is looking, and people are saying, bow the knee. That's pretty cool.
You go from a slave to that.
Exactly. Now, one of the lessons out of this is, will you let this go to your head, Joseph? Or will you still stay humble and serve the Lord? How would you respond?
A little cocky.
Probably, huh? That's actually, no, that's really good, because that's the point of the story. One of the lessons we need to extract is when success comes our way, when things become prosperous. See, it's really, I don't want to say it's easy, but everybody can find God. And when I use the word find God, everybody finds God in the pit. Like there's a saying, there's no atheist in a foxhole. Do you know what that means? No.
No.
Okay. Well, back in the World War, like World War I and II, they would, when they would be shooting like battles and stuff, they would dig these things called foxholes so they could go in and hide, because there's so much gunfire. So if you were hiding in a foxhole, the saying goes, there are no atheists in a foxhole.
So is that supposed to mean like atheists aren't scared of sharing their beliefs?
No, it's like if you were an atheist before and all of a sudden you got bullets flying at you, you're probably going to say, okay, God, if you're there, if you're real, save me, right? There's no atheists in a foxhole. So here's the point. Most people have no problem finding and serving Jesus when things are bad. You know what the real challenge is? Is to serve Jesus when things are going good. when because oftentimes in life the successes of life push people at ease, and at ease it means like I don't, like all of a sudden it's like, well, what am I going to pray about? What can I pray with you for? I'm good, right? So this is part of the challenge. We have to stand back and we have to look, okay, so Joseph, are you going to still maintain, or is this going to change you? And this is very important. So, yeah, imagine I have to ask the same question. How would I react? I'd be like, man, look at these folks bowing their knee. So really good. So Joseph gets a new name, verse 45, Zaphnath Paneah, I think is how you say it. And do you know what that's all about? So it's in most cultures, in most societies, your name gets changed. We see this like with Hebrew boys in Babylon, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. That was actually their Babylonian names. So in Egypt, when you would get an official name change, it would mean you're actually part of you're now a citizen. You're not just a foreigner. And not only that, they sealed the deal by giving Joseph a wife. So Joseph now is given a bride. He's given a name. He's given clothes. He's given the signet ring. And he is ruling and reigning at the right hand of Pharaoh.
Pretty big deal.
Oh, it's a big deal. Big deal. And then God blesses him because he has two sons, Manasseh and Ephraim. And in fact, if you remember, I said on Sunday, I said, does anybody hear about the tribe of Joseph? We don't. You know what tribes they are? It's Manasseh and Ephraim. Those are the actual tribes. We won't get into all that. Okay, so anything else you want to talk about in here for this reading?
Not really. I mean, it's like at verse 57 when it says, Moreover, all the earth came to Egypt to Joseph to buy grain because the famine was severe all over the earth.
Mm-hmm.
So would that be including Rome too?
Okay, so that's actually a very good question. So when this uses the language all of the earth, what that means is all of the land. So if I just right click on this, it means ground, earth, territory, or country. So like, for instance, if to give you an idea, I know you don't understand Spanish or Portuguese, but they both do the same thing. Like if I said, hey, everybody in the room, listen up. I need your attention. You know how you say it in Spanish? They would say, todo el mundo. That means all of the world, literally. Like, and the same thing in Portuguese. All of the world, listen up. Now, do they mean literally everybody in the world, like from China to Rome? No, they mean everybody right there. And so this is a common biblical expression. So when it says all over the earth, you should take it literally, but it just means all around the region. And in fact, what we learn is this is a huge famine. It goes all the way up into Israel. It's a very large regional for that region. So does that make sense?
Yes.
All right. Well, I guess we can go into our reading for tomorrow, which is 42, 1 through 16. You do realize we could go on and on about the reading from today, right?
Yeah.
All right. So here's my other question. Have you already gone ahead and read tomorrow's reading?
Yes.
Okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to go super light, and I'm going to give you some suggestions because you're going to need to study some stuff out tomorrow, okay? You're going to try to find out a few things if we see anything interesting. Okay, so verse 42:1. So do you want to read verse 1? Go ahead and read it.
When Jacob learned that there was a grain for sale in Egypt, he said to his sons, "Why do you look at one another?"
Okay. Now, what do you think that means? Why do you look at one another?
Kind of like, why are you guys just sitting around here? Get us some food.
Exactly. That's it. You know what? You're exactly right. Like, why are you here twiddling your thumbs? Get off the switch, turn it off, go get to work, right? And how do you think Jacob learned that there was grain in Egypt?
I don't know.
Most likely there was people that had already been traveling. And so word travels fast. So there's people that have probably already gone down and come back up, and they're like,
Gossip,
yeah, it's kind of like, yeah, well,
kinda.
gossip travels fast. You are correct. All right, verse 2, go ahead and read it.
And he said, Behold, I have heard that there is grain for sale in Egypt. Go down and buy grain for us, that we may live and not die.
All right. Now I'm gonna look what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna highlight this. Now, do you think, here's my question, do you think that Jacob is being dramatic or is he being literal, like real?
Literal, because he has 11 sons, him, and then probably like all the other servants and stuff.
Yeah. So imagine what breakfast would be like. Okay, look at the looks, right? All the people they got to feed.
24 eggs a day.
Is it 24 eggs a day? All right, looks, if you're listening, that's a lot of eggs just to make up breakfast. Now imagine all them, right? So do you think that their food would run out quick? You think they had fridges and like storage and all that? I mean,
Nope.
and this is an essential element, the grain, right? The big deal. You can't feed your
You can't feed your cows to get some milk. You
your
can't make
sheep, your
bread.
goats.
You can't get bread.
Yeah, exactly. This is a big deal. So I'm glad that you're able to pick up on that. This is not him being dramatic. This is a real life and death situation. Okay.
And it's like at his age.
Yeah. Okay, now verse 3. Go ahead and read it.
So 10 of Joseph's brothers went down to buy grain in Egypt.
Okay. Verse 4.
But Jacob did not send Benjamin, Joseph's brother, with his brothers, for he feared that harm might happen to him.
All right, let's stop and analyze that now. So it says that he feared harm. Why do you think he would fear that?
Because he already thinks that that Joseph is dead, and it's like Benjamin in his mind is the last son of Rebecca,
Rachel.
Rachel,
You were close. I'm happy about that.
who was his true love.
Yeah. True love. Sounds strange talking like that, huh? I mean, he's got other wives, but no, hey, awesome, man. Proud of you for that. That's a really good insight. So yes, you nailed it. Go ahead and read verse 5 now.
Thus the sons of Israel came to buy among the others who came, for the famine was in the land of Canaan.
Canaan, yep. Go ahead and read verse. So, in other words, yeah, the famine had already hit there. Go ahead and read verse 6.
Now Joseph was governor over the land. He was the one who sold to all the people of the land. And Joseph's brothers came and bowed themselves before him with their faces to the ground.
All right, talk to me about this. Give me something here. Give me a nugget.
This was in Joseph's dream he had before his brothers beat him up and all that.
Exactly. So we need some dramatic. I need a button where we have dramatic music that goes dun dun dun, right? Because guess what? The dream is coming to pass, but it's not all the way there yet. But
they don't realize it yet, but it's happening.
Exactly. Now, when it says that he was the one who sold to all the people of the land, why do you think he did that?
Because he wanted to like make sure that everything was fair, maybe.
Yeah, he's a hard worker. Remember, he when he worked for his father entrusted him. Potiphar trusted him, like with prisoners, and then now he's with Pharaoh. So he shows his responsibility. So far, success has not changed him, Noah. Meaning his ethics, his work, his service. Because remember, this is part of the reason that God's hand is upon his life is because of his heart to serve. So this is evidence of it right here. All right, so very good. So go ahead and read verse 7 now.
Joseph saw his brothers and recognized them, but he treated them like strangers and spoke roughly to them. Where do you come from? He said. They said, from the land of Canaan to buy food.
Okay, so Joseph recognizes his brothers. Now, obviously, they go ahead and read verse 8 now.
And Joseph recognized his brothers, but they did not recognize him.
Why wouldn't they recognize Joseph?
Maybe because the last time they saw him, he was all like, he'd probably beat up by then.
True. So I like the way you're thinking. Anything else?
It's been over. Well, it's been over 14 years. I don't know.
Ah, very good. Where did you get that from? How did you know that?
7 years of prosperous, 7 years.
Well, no, we're correct. We're not done with the 7 years of famine yet, but it has been the 7 years of prospering. Do you remember? Okay, let's do this. How old was Joseph when he was sold?
17, and then he's 30.
Ah, so how long has that been? 13 years, right?
Mm-hmm.
So do you think a 17-year-old is going to look the same as he's going to be when he's 30, or do you think they'll change a little bit?
They'll change, but like with the brothers, they were basically adults by then, in like their 20s, 30s.
Yeah, yep. And we also got to consider that we do know, because we're going to read, I think, the next reading, we're going to see that Joseph is speaking through an interpreter with them. So he hides the fact, not in a dishonest way. He's not trying to like deceive them in a bad way, but he's speaking to them through an interpreter. But he understands Hebrew, obviously Hebrew, right? His mother tongue. And obviously, we would also have to think he doesn't look like a Hebrew anymore. His head is probably shaved. He's wearing Egyptian clothes, and he looks totally different. A giant chain around it, like he's got that.
Probably sounds different too.
Exactly, his voice. Like one day you will get a man voice, Noah.
I already do.
No, you don't. One day you will have a man voice, and that voice will change. Okay, so very good. I like the way your mind is working right now. So,
Verse 9.
yeah, go ahead and read it.
And Joseph remembered the dreams that he had dreamed of them, and he said to them, "You are spies. You have come to see the nakedness of the land."
All right. What do you think that phrase means? You've come to see the nakedness of the land.
Like they've come to see how Egypt is doing kind of bad, since right now it's the famine.
Exactly. So this is just a figure of speech to see, like, hey, we're going to spy this out. And if you guys are hurting like a wounded dog, we can come in and conquer you, right?
Uh-huh.
Yeah. So and this actually was a real threat. This was a real threat. So it's not in the sense that, again, that Joseph is deceiving them, but what Joseph is doing is he's trying to get some more information out of them.
Like he wants to know if they've changed their old ways.
You know what? That's good. That's a good insight. So go ahead and read the next one.
They said to him, "No, my lord, your servants have come to buy food."
Okay, go to the next one.
"We are all sons of one man. We are honest men. Your servants have never been spies."
Now, are they telling the truth? Are
No.
they honest?
No.
Now, here's the thing. They might think that they are honest men, right? But are they?
No.
They're telling the truth in this moment, but overall, they have what we would call, I'll tell you what I call it, a perverted sense of morality.
Like if you look in the past in the last couple years, maybe, but if you look at the big picture, not really.
Exactly. So everybody's a good person, right? Just like I said, there is no atheist in a foxhole. When you're standing in front of somebody that has the power of life and death, I mean, this is a big deal. Of course, you're going to say, we're honest men. Okay, go ahead and read the next verse. 12.
And he said to them, "No, it is the nakedness of the land that you have come to see."
Verse 13.
And they said, "We, your servants, are 12 brothers, the sons of one man in the land of Canaan. And behold, the youngest is this day with our father, and one is no more."
And keep going.
But Joseph said to them, "It is as I said to you, you are spies. But this ye shall be tested. By the life of Pharaoh, you shall not go from this place unless your youngest brother comes here." Send one of you and let him bring your brother while you remain confined, that your words may be tested, whether there is truth in you, or else by the life of Pharaoh, surely you are spies.
Ah, very good. So what do you think's happening here? Why do you think Joseph is doing this?
Because like part of it may be maybe because he wants to see his youngest brother, but the main part is to be it's like he wants to like test them on their way out from Egypt.
I think you're right. I think it's a little bit of both. I think that he wants to see his youngest
His
brother.
His full blood.
You're right.
Because they're his half brothers.
Exactly. You are No, I'm impressed. You're right on the money. So there's a little bit of that, but I will also add this. I believe that Joseph wants to have full reconciliation. You know what that means? He wants to reconcile with all of them as a whole.
So it's like so he wants to test the whole group.
Not test. He wants to reconcile. He wants to make things right with them. That's what it means to reconcile.
What about his father, though?
Well, his father will come. He's going to start with the brothers, and then that's part of the story. So we don't want to get too far ahead, but that's a good question. All right. So anything else in here that you want to touch on or talk about?
No, but like,
Okay.
even though he wouldn't actually do it, he brings up the turn by the life of Pharaoh. Obviously, he wouldn't have Pharaoh kill them or imprison them for life.
Obviously, yeah.
But it's like he wants to make sure that they fully change their old ways, and having them be in prison for a couple of days is gonna be like
Well, it's gonna be more than a couple of days because, okay, here's what you're gonna do. You are going to
see how long it is to go from Canaan to Egypt.
Yep. So you can figure that out. I want to know. I want to know round trip. How long will it take
to go from Canaan to Egypt back?
Correct,
to Canaan?
And not just in Canaan. You also need to figure out where Jacob was living at the time. I'm not going to tell you, but you're going to have to go back up and look. And then I want you to put shoes and socks on it. What does that mean?
I don't know.
Shoes and socks. I want you to like put some flesh on it, like Google Map it, right? Like Google Map it, not driving directions. I want walking directions. Okay.
I wonder if you would even do that.
I want donkey directions. So they like if you were to start where Jacob was and you were to go to Enterprise, rent a donkey, get you a donkey, put on the saddle. I want to know how long it's going to take you to get from there to there round trip, okay?
Honestly, I'm just wondering how unfit were people back then for them to walk this far.
Oh, no, believe me, we are like, you don't even want to know. Imagine, like Jesus was in shape. You know how much Jesus, like everybody walked, man. And they didn't have like
cars or...
There were no cars. They walked a lot.
No air conditioning.
So, okay, well, let's talk about this for a second. Did you do any walking today, Noah?
Yes.
Okay, how far did you walk?
30 minutes.
How do you know how far it was?
Like a mile?
A mile you walked, and you were like, oh. Yeah, they were crazy.
It's like if you compare them to this, the world has changed.
Oh, it's changed a lot. I'll tell you this: most Bible scholars would say that on a good average person on an average day could travel easily 25 miles. Can you imagine that, Noah?
You had to rent a scooter at Disneyland.
Wow.
That's how.
Well, that's because my foot got messed up, and that was my dream. Anyways, all right, that's enough. We better end this now. All right, friends, if you've got anything at home that you want to talk about, discuss, pray about, whatever you need to do it, just send us a text. Let us know, both Noah and I, and we would be happy to serve you. So we'll see you on the next episode. Thank you for listening to Al Pastor with Brian Overturf. If you found value in this, please subscribe and get updates. Most places podcasts are available. We're right here on Anchor FM through Spotify, also on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Amazon, and iHeartRadio. I hope you'll tune in for the next episode. Until then, we'll see you later.